lifting weights as a footballer is so important for you to improve your performance. It is not the only way to improve your performance. However, it is a very, very effective tool when it's used the right way. So let's get into it. 5 reasons why lifting won't make you slow. This is going to make you faster. It's going to help you to improve your performance on the football pitch. Now, the first reason, and it's not so much a reason, it's more a myth, is when you lift with intent and speed, that is when you see your performance improve. Intent and speed is really, really important. Now, when we talk about intent, we're talking about when you're actually standing in the gym, you're about to do, say, a front squat or a back squat. What's the intent behind the movement? Are you just going through the motions, or are you emphasizing certain elements of that lift? For example, are you lowering in the squat with control? Maybe you're doing an eccentric squat, so you might be lowering for 4 seconds or 6 seconds. There's an intent behind that. That's going to help with force absorption. It's a great way to build robustness, strengthen the legs by focusing on that lowering portion of the squat. You also want to look at the speed of the movement. So there's 2 ways we can go around this, right? We can go slow. We can work on the tempo. You'll have to excuse my pen. It's not the greatest, but hopefully you can see that. So we've got the tempo we can focus on, or is slow movement. If you can do something slow in the gym, you can 100% speed it up, but you can't. This is a mistake a lot of players make, is they do things fast, but they can't do them slow. And that's where you get breakdown in mechanics and movement, and sometimes it can lead to injury because you haven't got that control. So do things slow first, then add the speed later. So we've got tempo number 1, and then you've got speed. So speed being, can you take a slightly lighter weight, or can you move the same load with more speed? And this is something like a trap bar deadlift, a really heavy trap bar deadlift done with more speed and intent. There's a different type of intent behind that. We can have the intent where we're doing it slow and controlled, but there's also an intent where you're moving fast. Alternatively, you could take the weight down in that trap bar deadlift, that same exercise, and maybe reduce it to around 30% of your 1 rep max and move it with speed, or do a trap bar jump. Suddenly that bar's moving with a lot more speed. So there's different ways that we can train weights for performance, but the most important thing, and I would say it's almost myth busting, this one, is weightlifting can really impact and boost your performance positively, providing you've got intent behind the lift and you've potentially had some speed and movement, speed of movement within to the lift as well at a certain time of training. This isn't for everyone. This is more for maybe a more advanced athlete. But if you definitely, no matter what level you are, if you add intent to your lifting, it will make a massive, massive difference. Reason number 2 is all around RFD, which we call rates of force development. I'm just going to swap my pen around because I know that isn't the greatest. So we've got RFD, rate of force development. This is how quickly you can produce force, also known as power in a way. So there's no good just being strong in the gym. We want to be strong in the gym. It's a good foundational kind of base that every footballer, I personally believe, needs. But once you get strong, how quickly can you produce that force? Because ultimately, that's what you have to do on a football pitch. It's all good being able to squat 120 kilograms, but how quickly can you produce that to then jump up for a header? It's almost instantaneous. You have milliseconds to be able to produce these forces on a football pitch. So whilst you need to be strong, rate of force development is ultimately what we want to be focusing on when it comes to performance training. And really, that's the whole reason why we're lifting, is to improve this metric. Some players, and a lot of the guys that we train inside Fit for 90, there's a certain element of aesthetics that we add to this as well. So yes, we want to be able to move with speed. We want a good rate of force development. Yes, we need to be lifting with intent, but also we want to look good. So we add that pillar onto the training program for each player. Every player is slightly different. Some don't really care how they look, but a lot of players do want to look good as well as perform well. So we add that element in. So there'll be certain exercises and certain things you do in the gym which are more geared towards aesthetics, but this stuff here is purely towards performance. And it comes down to this RFD, rate of force development. This can be trained again by having a good foundational base, a good strength base, which you build by lifting with intent, following the principle of progressive overload. So doing a little bit more each time you're in the gym if you can. more reps, more loads, slowing down the movement when it comes down to tempo again. But ultimately, over time, we want to start moving good loads with speed as well, and doing our things like our plyometrics, which will then translate to our RFD, our rate of force development, which is how quickly we can produce the force. This kind of goes into number 3. So to integrate rate of force development, what we need to be looking at is speed training. So actual sprinting, going out and sprinting consistently every single week, at least once a week, if not twice a week. Implementing change of direction work, implementing plyometrics in the gym. But the big one, I think, something most players don't train enough is actually just going out and sprinting, because these two are very closely linked. And quite honestly, lifting won't make you slow, providing you have this element in your training, because this will take what you're doing in the gym with your tempos, with the intent, with the progressive overload. This will develop your rate of force development. It will make you faster. It will make you more robust. It's one of the first lines of defense against hamstring injuries. Being able to sprint and do it consistently is such an incredible tool. And in terms of power output, when we're trying to develop power and speed, there is nothing better than going out and sprinting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 meters. The mistake a lot of players make here is this becomes a conditioning session because they don't rest enough between sprints. The majority of a speed session, if you do it right, and a lot of the guys inside Fit for 90 will know this, you're standing around most of the time in the speed session. It's very few reps. It's quality work over just going through the motions. If you want to do a conditioning session, keep it separate, do it after, but don't make speed work conditioning work. Number 4. So number 4, and a reason why lifting not so much won't make you slow, but there might be a reason why lifting is making you slow at the moment. So you're trying to chase fatigue over function. When you're chasing fatigue and purely fatigue, you end up being a glorified bodybuilder, which nothing against bodybuilders, but there's a lack of focus on explosive movement. There's a lack of focus on speed. There's a lack of focus on RFD. There's no real intent behind the movement. You're just going through the motions to fatigue the muscle to try and get it to look bigger so that you look better in the mirror. We can all look good, but we can also perform well, and there's a way to do it. If you want to implement fatigue-based movement and fatigue-based training, do it at the end of your sessions as accessory work. A lot of the guys we train, they'll do their performance session, and then at the end, we might add some bicep curls in, some tricep extensions in, build out the arms a little bit. Some guys want to build out their chest. Okay, maybe we do some additional chest flies and bench presses. Although that's integrated to the program kind of earlier in the workouts anyway. But if they want additional work, if they want to build those areas out more, we can add that in at the end, because that's less of a priority when it comes to performance training. You'll still get really good results from it. You still look good, but it shouldn't be the sole focus. A lot of players put this before everything, put fatigue before everything, and that is a big, big mistake. Number 5, and a reason, it's not so much a reason why you're not lifting. Sorry, a reason why lifting won't make you slow, but it's the principles of training. And if you've got good principles, if you've got good knowledge of training, the 5th one almost brings this all together and says, I know I need to be lifting with intent and getting the tempos right. I need to have that progressive overload. I know what the reason behind my lifting is, because I'm trying to improve this element here of rate of force development. I know that I need to be doing my speed work in addition to this, and I know I shouldn't just be chasing fatigue. And number 5 brings this all together. And the 5th reason is, provided you have these principles in place, lifting weights won't make you slow, because you know what you're doing. There's a clear intent and rationale behind what you're doing every single time you step in the gym. And this is what we help our guys inside Fit for 90 do, is making sure that they go through the phases knowing that exactly what they're training at any given time, in season, pre-season, off season. They're not just training like a bodybuilder trying to chase fatigue. They're going through specific criteria, meeting specific criteria, before they can progress to that next phase. And ultimately, if you stick at this for long enough, you improve your performance, you improve your strength, you improve your power, you'll improve your speed as well, because you'll take the strength that you're building in the gym, and because you're getting that speed exposure, because you understand this, because you're getting that speed exposure, you're getting quicker and you're getting more robust as well. It's a wonderful place to be in. That is in a very short, hopefully not too long a video, is how and why lifting is not going to make you slow, providing you do it the right way. If you're going into the gym right now just doing chest and tries, back and bis, legs and shoulders, there is a point that's going to come, whatever time of the year you're watching this, within the next 3, 4, 5 months, where you feel like an absolute ton of bricks on the pitch. You move like a bus. Your recovery is going to slow down massively, because I can guarantee when the fixtures get big, they come thick and fast, and the games you're playing 2 a week, maybe Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, training as well. Team training is on top of the goal sessions. Lifting purely for that fatigue, which is what bodybuilding training is. Lifting purely for that, it'll catch up with you. I can almost guarantee it, because I've done it myself. I've made that mistake myself. I don't want you to make the same mistake. So follow these principles, ask me questions, comment wherever there is around this video if you have any questions, and like and subscribe, share it with your teammates so they know what they need to be doing when it comes to performance training. Have a good one.